Gwych.
Wel, diolch yn fawr iawn am y croeso. Diolch i Bethan am wadd i draw. Dwi wedi bod yn meddwl beth dwi'n ei ddeud heno, ond gobeithio bod o'n rhyw fath o grynhoad o beth dyn ni wedi bod yn gwneud yn ardal Dinas Mawddwy ers chydig o flynyddoedd. When we come to actually consider what we've done in Dinas Mawddwy for the last 22 years, there's an awful lot we've done, to be honest with you, and having to look through the archives of my files, it was quite daunting to think, oh, I've got to remember to add this or that to the list. So it's nice to reflect back sometimes as what we've accomplished, really, or not, as the case may be. There was set up, about 5 or 6 of us came together in around 2001, 2002, somewhere around that time, thinking that, lots of European money going around, thinking it's a pity that we can't make better use of that money in our own area. So we were thinking, we'll have to try and do something. So we set up a group called Dinas Mawddwy, which is the regeneration group. And we were thinking, well, okay, we'll do a few projects to see how we get on. But we need to understand what the community's needs are, as you do, to make sure that we're going the right way, ticking the right boxes. And with some money from various places, we managed to do a questionnaire and get some results. So when the group at Video started, it was just a non-legal, it wasn't a legal entity, it was just a normal society. But then it transferred to a legal entity called Cwmni Nod Glas. Cwmni Nod Glas, I'll explain a little more about that, which only came about in 2012. So a few years passed between one and the other. So we did a survey. We sent out a letter to everybody asking what the skills and needs of the community would be. I'm sure you can't see that, but it just goes through the various reasons why we're doing it and what we'd like people to respond to, what kind of things that is needed. So we looked at all the various options. We were talking about housing, local produce, workshops, improving paths, assist to improve school resources, improve the hall in Dinas, improve mobile phone reception, local food and produce processing facility, and on and on. So we had a huge list of different things which we thought would be suitable for future European funding or other funding opportunities. So we started off looking at those options. With my background, by 2004, I started working as a rural housing enabler, and the 3 houses were built in the area around 2005-06. One of the first, and the rural housing enabler officer role with the housing association. But we were conscious that we needed to up our game as well with other projects. So moving on, we were also wondering, we needed to address the issue of keeping the language, culture and work in the area, especially the fact that Dinas Mawddwy at the time was quite Welsh in its ethos and in the language of the inhabitants. So we were looking at how we can certainly improve and ensure that we weren't losing Welsh speakers in that respect and keeping Welsh language and culture. When we're looking at the societies that were around at the time, I've just realised doing these slides how many we've lost over the years. Lots of different societies. There was a Clwb Dyfi, which was an elderly person's group. There's not one of those anymore. And there's and there are others as well that haven't carried on. So I started thinking, right, I've got to do a nice pictogram of what the area is all about. You know, we were looking at scenic, we've got lovely weather, as you know, we've got aeroplanes, we've got a good society and we've got a drama theatre company, we've got a traditional events like the Steddfod, the show, agricultural show. We've got the main artery between North and South Wales going through it. We've got good pub, we've got good food, we've got the history of the Gwylltiad Cochion, we've got Glyndŵr, we've got the ancient churches. So lots of things that were something that we're all feeling that we're proud of, and we want to make sure that they are kept intact for the future, and obviously anything new then we would add to that. So we started off with some banners. We've got some banners through the various European funding for the show and for a farmers market we had at the time. Alas, the market, farmers market isn't anymore, but the show is still going. So we had great ideas that we were going to do a Coed y Brenin type of place. This is Dinas Mawddwy on the right there, and we were thinking we'd have a great downhill bike course spreading across the whole of the mountainside, so that's and we'd have a cable car or something like that going to the top of the mountain. Great idea. Getting it to work was another matter. But it was great to have the ideas to be able to encourage interest and what have you. So we developed a couple of logos. We've got and the first one on the left is a logo trying to represent Cwmni Nod Glas, obviously, and but it's supposed to look at the three things about Dinas Mawddwy. There's an old saying about Dinas Mawddwy: tri pheth o fawddwy ddaw, un cas, nod glas a glaw. So three things from the Mawddwy that you get is an angry man, the black or the blue pitch that was extracted from the ground to do to pitch sheep with, if you understand me. Well, it's like blue paint basically, and it's an ore in the ground that you extract and you melt down and use it to mark sheep. And the last one is the blue of the rain. Okay, so that was supposed to be representing all those three things. Maybe not a good idea, but never mind. But anyway, we've got a new one now, which is a bit more dynamic, I think. It's good. Anyway, so we started off again. We've had numerous community public meetings, and especially the one that we came to consider when we were thinking about acquiring the old shop in Dinas Mawddwy. So this was done. So we still were keen on doing various type of events. We did a solar panel expo in Dinas Mawddwy with Andy. Were you involved with that, Andy? Can't remember. No, not that one. Maybe Paul was involved with the cats. Probably not. Can't remember it. I'm sure it was a very small event. Anyway, so a few solar panel experts and companies came along to this expo we did. It was just a good excuse for getting everybody around to discuss it. Other things we did was to try and get more of a presence from people coming into the area, what was available. We did manage to get a lovely board like that, but we had a board with Dinas Mawddwy and a few other small brown symbols. Sorry, you can't see there, can you? Home of the 15th century infamous Red Bandits, Bwlch one of the highest road passes in Wales, and Arfon Hughes, Wales' second highest mountain at 9,005, probably not right, but never mind. needs to be. Okay. We were thinking we needed some Welsh lessons or Welsh sessions for those who were moving into the area. And one of the other projects we had in mind was a distillery. So you know Stuart England, he's quite likes his malt whiskey, and he thought he could do something with the Cerris water, Dŵr Cerris, on the way up towards Dolgellau. And obviously he was thinking, oh, it's a great idea, we can make it work. So we were looking at what advantages there were, disadvantages, strengths, weaknesses, and what funding there could be. But unfortunately, we didn't manage to pull it off. We were always looking at why people were asking us why you're doing this, and we had to obviously give them information about what we were doing. More public meetings. This one was specifically to discuss biomass, well, not this particular one, but another one, about how we were going to use biomass for heating the village, and maybe in the future some heat and power as part of that. And Andy was involved with that, weren't you, Andy? Yes, to help with setting up, well, making the case for them. So we were thinking it'd be great to have something like that today even. So we are considering working with 7Y at the moment to see if there's any mileage to look at doing it at this time. So we were looking at Dinas Mawddwy. You just can't probably see that, but the system would have run from the old council yard through the village and down to Minllyn. So it was quite a long stretch of pipe that we would have had to put in, and obviously each house would have been able to be connected up to the hot water and exchanged through that exchanger in the house then for heating the house. But I think the most obvious project that we did was the cafe and the flats above in Dinas Mawddwy. We managed to get some funding for that from Europe and from the Housing Association and Mantell Gwynedd, and that has been possibly the most successful project we did. We had a good turnout for our event to launch it. We had Alessandra Roberts to cut the ribbon, Nadine and Karen there, who was our first tenants, came in to start business. So it's been flourishing ever since. Basically, we're on our fourth tenant at the moment, who is using it as a cafe and gallery and selling local cakes simultaneously as well. So that's one of the pictures of the cafe craft. That's a recent picture during Christmas time, I think it is. Then over the last 5 years or so, we've been looking at other projects, and this is a picture of our community public meeting to look at paths, and we were thinking how we can improve the appeal of the area by increasing the number of improving the paths and circular paths at that as well. So we've got, by the end of the project, we've got 8 circular paths of various distances, which we've got maps and signs up in various places in the village. We've got roundels and QR codes that people can pick up information about the local history and what has been happening over the hundreds of years that's shaped the community and the landscape. We've built ramps for various users over the Dyfi. This is in Dolabont. looking back towards the village. So that's was a collaboration between the Cwmni Nod Glas and the Community Council. Interestingly, we incorporated these round concrete things. I'm sure you can kind of guess what they were used for originally, or can you? There's holes in them, just in case you were wondering.
Weights?
Well, you could say they were weights, yes. I'll put you out of your misery. They were actually stopping vehicles going through certain areas during the Second World War. So they were to stop whatever vehicle from going from one place to another. And as we've probably seen above Bwlch Oedrws, there are some large blocks of stone in the Bwlch there. If ever the Germans came over and came up from Barmouth and the Mawddwy, then those big blocks of stone would have been there to stop any tanks or whatever coming over the Bwlch. Well, that's the theory. So yes, so we during the project we uncovered a few historical stones. This stone, this big stone here, is actually the remnant of the old mansion of Edmund Buckley, who built his mansion on the site of Plas, of Lawnt Plas in Dinas Mawddwy, and that's one of the columns of his elaborate porch that he had. The second picture is the bridges that we were built during the project. I think we had about 4 or 5 bridges all in all between everything. Project cost, we had around £200,000 worth of European funding for the project, and we had to raise another £70,000 to add to it, so that we could get for the match funding. So all in all, it was quite a big project because of what we had. That project is still ongoing, even though that the funding has come to an end. We're happy to see so many new people coming and using the paths and taking and picking up maps that we produce to actually go and follow the routes and what have you. Then about 4 years ago, I think it was, or maybe more, we were offered some land in Lawnt Plas, where the council houses are in Dinas. This piece of land is the old piece of the old garden of the mansion of Edmund Buckley. The old mansion used to be around this site here. So all that purple area there, we've managed to lease from Adra, the housing association, whose houses that are in the middle there. And so we've had the lease now we've got the lease for 75 years, and we've got and we manage it. Nadine, who you saw in the picture earlier, and a few others came to us and asked us if we would be interested in having a community garden. So this piece of land here is the start of that community garden, and that's the rhubarb that's growing there at this moment in time. There's a few more pictures of the community garden. It's the entrance, and there's more different pictures of wildflowers and various, and anybody can go there and pick their own if they want to. This is a project starts off with Cwmni Dyfi, which Andy and myself and Chris and James were involved with. So it's been the best thing that the Llanwch y Plas project has done, really, because they were looking at potential lack of interest after a certain period of time, because it was during COVID as well, and that we needed a bit of a boost. So that money certainly kick-started things off, and we had a pond as well, so there's extra activity that people can look after. So yes, so basically that's where we are at the moment. So as I said, we're looking at what potential is for energy local or something like that we can consider for community, producing community energy for local people. We've never, just to have an overview of it, it's always been project led. We haven't had any individual being employed by us on a permanent basis. We've always had contractors do this, that and the other. And the main reason for that, because we're conscious that we couldn't see ourselves being in a position that we can employ somebody without any good permanent funding coming in to be able to actually employ somebody and we were always conscious that we didn't have good HR to be able to help with ensuring that we've got we could look after our staff as well. So that was one of the biggest things that we decided at the outset that we weren't going to employ anybody unless things happened in a different. So what we've done basically is sort of kick-start things off. We've been able to help other organisations or other business to help and keep work in the area, which was exactly what we intended to do at the outset. And we're as everything we've shown, we had to start at our feet. What could we do with 5 or 6 of us helping to do something that will help others to come forward and keep the interest in the local area really, and to keep young families and the businesses ticking over. As we all know, Dinas Mawddwy isn't a very wealthy area, and we need to consider how we can make ends meet for the local community as well as helping generate good feeling and the Planach y Plas project, community garden has certainly been a good opportunity for people to have a well-being factor, helping each other, having some lunch together, that kind of thing. So it's all been quite positive really, and looking to the future, we're not all the directors are feeling a little bit daunted by now, thinking how are we going to carry on for another 22 years or so. So we are looking at our potential replacements one day. So yes, that's possibly the next project that we've got on, to find new good blood to come along and help us out basically, and take on new projects hopefully, and keep the old place going. So I'll stop there, I think. So just taking the picture of the area.
Any questions for Cwmni Nod Glas?
When you refer to we, obviously it's the organisation. How many of you are there? Have
Well,
you all been there from its inception?
Yeah, well, we've had maybe one director drop out. We're about 5 people, really, 5 men in the late 50s, early 60s.
It's important to have hobbies.
Which just goes to show that we haven't actually developed our mixed directors for the community, but we've got great wives that can certainly tell us where we want to go. Yeah.
I saw in the beginning there you showed what the community wanted, and maybe they could apply for European funding at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed it was 2003 written on the top. Do you host those kind of discussions now at all? I wonder if that would spark maybe
I think
a new direction.
Over the years, we've had the cafe and the shop, and then we've had the Paths project. So yes, so we and Cwmni Nod Glas and the woodland there, you know, that certainly we've had instances where we've asked people, what do you think we need to do in these places and what have you. But I think generally, I think we're fairly, you know, we quite are aware of what's out there, and we do have a good, you know, relationship with majority of people in the area. We have good, but you know, like everything else, we're not going to please everybody, and we have to accept that. And you know, it's not easy to do projects like this, which is going to help everybody in any way. You know, so we have to understand, we have to gauge. You know, we were trying to help people who have, you know, issues regarding having housing in one area, with keeping the building for the hen shop to be kept open, have a cafe in the village. We were hoping to have the post office transferred over to it, but that's kept in the village hall. The other project for European funding obviously has helped the various farmers and various contractors in the area to actually have something from the European funding, which they were all saying, oh, we're not getting enough money from the European funding because it's been diverted to other things in the RDF project fund. So yeah, so it's, you know, it's helped various people at various times, and I think, you know, we can certainly say that we've helped the majority of people over the years in one way or the other.
But you can see that by the diversity of the projects as well. Like, there is no real focus. The focus is just the community.
Yes. I think you're right. We wanted to try and find. You know, it has tended to be grant focused in that respect because of the fact that we didn't have any core funding that we could employ people to do it. You know, we could have done that obviously, but I think, as I said, you know, we didn't want to do that. We were happy to do all the work ourselves and as volunteers, and to try and do as much as we could, really.
Great. Well, yeah, well, growing up in Dolgella,